Welcome to Inviting Oneness, a podcast where we explore true stories from friends and members of EquaSion. Stories where the illusion of separateness gave way to the deeper truth of our shared humanity. Across traditions, we find affirmations of oneness. Jim Newby is the minister and public friend at Cincinnati Friends Meeting. In his book, Finding Yourself in Chaos, co-authored with Mark Minear, Jim says, "The ways of the world encourage individualism, but growth in the spirit of Christ will accentuate the interconnectedness of all people and the care we should have for one another." His words remind us, oneness isn't an idea, it's an experience. And today, we continue listening for it, one story at a time. This week's storyteller is Deidre Hazelbaker. Deidre will be joining EquaSion as the new executive director beginning in July.
To really know oneness, you have to know its opposite. You have to know chaos. I grew up in a trailer where chaos was the air we breathed. There was no rhythm, no calm. My mom lived with bipolar disorder. My real dad wasn't really present. He died when I was a kid, just 36, from the AIDS epidemic in the 80s. And my mom passed away from lymphoma when I started my own family. So loss and weak support system were my norm. I learned how to take care of myself, go on adventures alone, immerse myself with other families and communities, like walking myself to the little Highland Methodist Church every Sunday. Always staying over at my other friends' houses. I would wake up early and hang out with the other moms, making breakfast with them, conversing, just soaking up the love and the care. My sister did her best to shield what she could. We were no strangers to loss, to things falling apart, to carrying grief without a place, to put it. I knew what it meant to feel broken, while really painting the facade of being whole. But I do know wholeness now. I feel whole. I am whole. Now with family I've built, my partners, my girls, our routines, our community, it's different. It's calm, it's full. And yet the clearest I've ever felt that sense of oneness wasn't during a normal day at home. It was during COVID. Yes, when isolation and fear and inequities were growing, and there was a halt to progress. That's where I felt oneness. I remember the week before the shutdown like it was yesterday. Only a few of us had really shown up to the meeting house that March. I'd only been coming to Cincinnati Friends since October 2019. It's not very long, really. Certainly not long enough to assume trust. But somehow, Jim and I just leaned into it. He was about to give a message, and I could feel that it mattered. And so, just before he started, I said, "Can I live stream this?" He said yes, without hesitation. The message was captured and shared, and really by the next Sunday, we were on Zoom. Apart, but connected again. Our little Quaker meeting had moved online. Those early days were pretty clunky. Screens were full of half heads and muted mics, but we kept showing up and sitting in silence. I hadn't known Kathy very long, but since I'd helped a bunch of elder Quakers get on Zoom at 40, I became the young tech kid. So she asked me to help her stream her husband's funeral. It was a unique request. I really thought long and hard, how can I be a part of this family in this troubled time? But she really wanted her family to be present while apart. And really that simple act of me helping her connect with her family connected us. But nothing really prepared me for the day that she spoke out in silence in our meeting. Still on Zoom, Kathy shared her story. She had recently not only lost her husband, but her mom and her dog, all within weeks. She didn't really cry when she was sharing. She didn't really stumble. But something in her voice was cracking through that layer and that distance apart from us. Her loss felt bigger than death. It felt like a part of her had been taken. And somehow I could feel it more deeply than I had felt even my own losses. As she spoke of strength and community, grief, finding herself again, That space between us, the screens, the rooms, the distance, it all disappeared. That silence wasn't just quiet. It started to come alive, heavy. You could feel it. Quakers, I learned later, call that a gathered meeting. I don't know if anybody else really felt it during that time, but I felt it. And somehow it happened on Zoom. And we experienced a unity that transcended those little boxes. It wasn't just shared sadness, it really was oneness. A collected breath, when everybody's kind of feeling it. It was too big for her to carry alone, so we carried it together. And really that's that spiritual clarity moment in that time that I bonded with Kathy. And now Kathy's a part of our community family. My kids love her. They're 9 and 10, and they just, if Kathy's there, the world is great. They feel safe with her. They trust her. We are one together, a different oneness. And really, Cincinnati Friends has been that place that shaped me. And that chaos that I felt before is gone. I feel grounded there. I feel safe. It's where I feel one.
Thanks for joining us on Inviting Oneness, where we share real stories of connection that dissolve the illusion of separation and reveal our common humanity. If today's story moved you, we invite you to keep the conversation going in person at this year's Festival of Faiths on June 22nd, a day of dialogue, music, and community rooted in compassion and unity. To learn more about the festival, our work at EquaSion, or to share your own story of oneness, visit us at EquaSion.org. Until next time, may we keep inviting oneness within ourselves and with one another.